Here on Red Hunt, we're all about those moments that make you stop and think, like what happened next. For context, I am a 17-year-old male and she is a 17-year-old female. We have been friends for over a year and are part of a trio with another friend who is 16 years old and female. Initially, our friendship was very healthy and we got along well. We were very close friends, often cuddling and sharing beds, but it was never romantic until about 2 months ago when she confessed that she had a crush on me, and I thought I felt the same way. About a month into the relationship, I realized that I am, in fact, gay and informed her as soon as possible. I kept the conversation over text, as she preferred that method. I was respectful and told her that I would love to remain friends, but I understood if she needed space for a while. She insisted that she wanted to stay friends, and while she was sad, there were no hard feelings. However, her actions have conveyed the opposite. She has become extremely rude to me and our other friend in the group. She has confessed that she lies to us for fun and has been doing so since before we were dating. Last weekend, while we were in the car, I called her out on it. I told her that it was not okay to lie to friends and that I could no longer trust anything she said. She became very defensive and insisted that she only lied about things that affected her, but I knew that was not true. I brought up several instances of her lying and explained how they made me and our other friend feel, but she insisted that she was not in the wrong. I made it clear that if she was upset with me due to the breakup, she did not have to see me or be my friend. If I was doing something wrong, she could communicate that with me. Despite my attempts to discuss this openly, she insisted that everything was fine. The lying has continued, along with her rude comments and odd behavior. She continues to mention that she is making more friends, which seems like a way to make us jealous. I am uncertain about how to proceed. I have tried to communicate like adults, but now she expects an apology from me for calling her out. I am beginning to question whether I am going insane. Is this situation normal? Is lying to friends something people do? I would appreciate other people's opinions. Additionally, she refuses to confide in us and instead hints vaguely that she is upset with us. Our recent communication has involved guessing what is wrong until we land on the correct answer and apologize. I feel like I am losing my mind. I can provide additional context if needed. This isn't it. You're not responsible for this, but it kind of sounds like she's stuck dealing with it. I mean, after a breakup, especially with someone close, it can feel like everything is falling apart. She's probably acting out because she's feeling a certain way and is trying to push you both away to protect herself. It totally makes sense that she would struggle with her feelings, and honestly, she might not even know how to express them. Giving her some space could really help. Sometimes people just need that time to process everything. A rudeness. Yes, it seems like a way of coping, even if it's not the healthiest way. It's clear you've tried to communicate openly, but if she's not ready for that, it might be best to back off for now. You're not going insane. These kinds of reactions can be pretty common after a breakup. Just hang in there and let her figure things out at her own pace. Am I the jerk for not apologizing when I disturbed my family while they were trying to sleep, which resulted in my phone being taken indefinitely? I am a 19-year-old female living with my 16-year-old sister and my 49-year-old mother. In our home, we have a very strict bedtime of 10:00 p.m., and we are not allowed to make phone calls past 9:00 p.m. Although the time is not specifically part of the rule, it is generally around that time that I receive reminders to stop talking. 2 days ago, against my better judgment, I was on a call with some friends past the designated no-call time. My mother sent me an angry message telling me to hang up. I stayed on the call for a little while longer, but eventually hung up. My plan was to go to sleep right after that because my sister was very tired. None of my family members can fall asleep unless everyone else is also asleep. I then remembered that I needed to hang up the laundry to dry, so I got up to do that. While in the bathroom, I got on the call again with the intention of just listening. However, I did start to whisper at one point. During this time, my mother attempted to call me twice, and I also received 2 text messages that I did not notice. I did not answer the calls because I thought it would be petty to talk on the phone when we live in the same apartment, and I would have to speak to her anyway once I was done with the laundry. When I came out, my mother was furious. She reprimanded me for being on the call during the evening and accused me of disrespecting her by not listening and disturbing the family when they needed to sleep. She also accused me of not hanging up the laundry because I had been in there for too long and suggested that I might be talking about her behind her back. She demanded that I give her my phone to look for proof and wanted to delete the messages she sent because they were apparently unkind. She did not want me to screenshot them or send them to any of my friends. I handed over my phone because I had nothing to hide and had not said anything about her. She claimed that even if there was nothing in the group chat, she could not be sure that I was not hiding something else on my phone. I encouraged her to look through my texts or anywhere else she felt was appropriate. However, she only checked the group chat and still said she could not believe me and thought I might be hiding things. This led to a back-and-forth discussion about privacy, and ultimately she took my phone indefinitely. It has been 2 days and I have not received my phone back. She stated, "Why should I give it back? You are not apologizing for what you did." I acknowledged that my actions were wrong, but I do not want to apologize because I feel her reaction was disproportionate to what happened. She has every right to be angry, but the severity of her accusations and how she makes everything about herself have become too much for me. I understand that I might be petty for not apologizing, and I have tried to explain my thoughts and feelings to her, but they do not seem to resonate. I am worried that if I apologize sincerely, she will not believe me and will think I am only doing it to get my phone back. Am I the antagonist in this situation? Man, no way. It's really tough dealing with a parent who's that controlling, especially at 19. I mean, the way she sends those abusive messages and then just deletes them. That's just not okay. Holding onto your phone for days just to check if you might have said something negative. Yeah, that's definitely not normal. If she's reacting like this over something so minor, just imagine how it is on a daily basis. You shouldn't have to live under that kind of pressure. Sure, you broke some house rules, but honestly, it's clear your mom's vibe isn't right either. Apologizing might help you get your phone back, but if things don't change, it might be time to think about moving out. In the end, you've got to look after yourself first. Just remember, you're not alone in this. Am I the jerk for wanting my parents to lower the TV volume? Myself, a 23-year-old female, and my boyfriend, a 25-year-old male, have recently moved back in with my parents after living independently for the past 2 years. We are both studying, and with rent in our area completely out of control, my parents kindly agreed to let my boyfriend move in as well so we could save for a house deposit. Due to personal reasons, moving in with his own parents was not an option. We are really grateful, but one issue has been troubling us since we moved in: the television volume. My bedroom is down a short hallway from the living room. My parents' nightly routine has always been to watch television from about 4 p.m. until midnight, and sometimes even until 1 a.m. At least once a week, one or both of them will fall asleep on the couch and leave the television blaring all night. This was not a huge issue when I was younger, as the volume was more reasonable. However, as they have gotten older and have experienced hearing loss, the volume has steadily increased to almost unbearable levels. This has made studying difficult and sleeping even worse. I have somewhat gotten used to it, but my boyfriend is a very light sleeper and has found it nearly impossible to get a full night's sleep. He is exhausted, struggling to concentrate on his studies, and becoming a grumpier version of himself. I honestly cannot blame him. It is the sleep deprivation. I usually text my parents around 11 p.m. asking if they could turn the television down. My mother is fine with it, but my father gets annoyed, says he cannot hear anything, and convinces her to turn it back up. I have also had private conversations with my mother, explaining that both of us have university or work early in the morning. She promises to keep it down but does not follow through, mainly because of my father. What frustrates me the most is that they have a television in their upstairs bedroom. It is newer, larger, and already set up with all their streaming applications. I have asked my mother if they could use that television instead after a certain time, especially since they always complain about back pain from sleeping on the couch. However, their attitude is, "This is our house and we will watch television where we want." I understand it is their house. But am I in the wrong for wishing they would just turn it down a bit past 10 or 11 p.m.? Or for using the bedroom television sometimes? I do not want to seem ungrateful, especially considering how much we are saving by being here. However, it is starting to take a huge toll on both of us. I feel guilty for putting my boyfriend through this while he is going through an extremely busy time in university. Hey, listen up, if your folks are having a hard time hearing the TV at lower volumes, it might be a good idea for them to get their hearing checked. I mean, hearing aids can really make a difference, especially since they can connect directly to the TV for better sound without having to crank up the volume. Plus, catching any hearing issues early on can really benefit brain health down the road. Now, about your request to turn it down at night, it's totally fair to ask, but you know it's their house. If they're not up for changing their routine, that's just part of living together. It sounds like you've shared your frustration without being disrespectful, so no hard feelings there. In the end, you and your boyfriend need to figure out if living there is really worth the savings. If it's too much, maybe it's time to think about getting your own place where you can completely control the volume. In the meantime, some good earplugs or even a white noise machine could help a lot. Am I the jerk for uninviting my former head teacher and my partner's parent to my wedding? I am a 26-year-old female getting married to my fiancé, who is 29 years old in September. We have invited partners for close friends and family, but have not given any blanket plus ones. My mother, who is 56 years old, has been really excited about the wedding. A few weeks ago, we went out for lunch for Mother's Day with her and my sister. During this lunch, she shared that she is seeing someone, a former teacher named Henry, who is now retired. She was quite smitten. Apparently, they have been seeing each other since November, but she was anxious to tell us about it. This is the first time she has been in a relationship since my father passed away 6 years ago, and she expressed concern about how we would react. I was genuinely happy for her. My father has been gone for a long time, and I believe the loneliness has affected her significantly. After discussing her new partner, we talked about the wedding again, and I confirmed that her new partner would be invited. Fast forward to yesterday, my fiancé and I visited my mother to meet her new partner. When we arrived, my former head teacher was sitting on the sofa and jumped up to greet us. For a moment, I was confused about why he was there before realizing that he was Henry. Henry is Mr. Campbell, my old head teacher. He was the head teacher from when I was in year 10 until I completed upper 6th. He did not have a favorable opinion of me. I was not a particularly bad student and occasionally got in trouble, but much of what he reprimanded me for was trivial. For example, he once called my father in for a behavior meeting because I had been caught wearing 2 pairs of school socks. This may sound odd, but we had large woolen blue socks and they looked better when 2 pairs were scrunched down, even though it was against uniform policy. During that meeting, he also criticized me for not showing any expression on my face, implying it was wrong that I could just sit there like it wasn't affecting me. It seemed like he wanted to make me cry or upset. He claimed to have asked my teachers and they reported that I had an attitude and misbehaved in class, but none of my reports said that. My father was horrified and did not speak to me for a couple of days. Once I was on his radar, Mr. Campbell took every opportunity to find something wrong with my uniform or behavior so he could give me a detention. After the initial confusion, he introduced himself as Henry and made a joke about my top button being undone, which made me uncomfortable. He spoke to me as if I were still a teenager. We left after about half an hour of awkward conversation. Throughout the drive home, I could not stop thinking about the wedding and how much I do not want him there. I do not want to feel judged and disliked on my wedding day. However, I am unsure how to tell my mother. I know it will hurt her feelings since she clearly cares for him, and I do not want to give the impression that I have a problem with her dating in general. On the other hand, I do not want someone who dislikes me at my wedding. Would I be the antagonist if I expressed my concerns? Honestly, you're not responsible for this. Your mom really should know about your past with this guy, especially since he was your head teacher. If she doesn't know how he treated you, it's definitely time to tell her. I mean, it makes total sense that you don't want him at your wedding. He used his power to bully you, and it's just not right for him to make comments about your clothes now. It's a tricky situation, but you have every right to want a comfortable space on your big day. You can explain that you want to keep it to people who truly matter to you. Plus, if he's still causing you stress, it's better to talk about it now rather than later. It might be tough, but this could really help your mom understand where you're coming from. Am I the jerk for telling people I lent a coworker money? Hi, I am a female, 18 years old, and I have been lending money to a male, 20 years old. The amounts are usually not much, typically ranging from $20 to $60. However, it has become a regular occurrence between us. We work together and I do not have another job. He attends school and only works about 1 shift a week, while I work between 3 to 5 shifts. When this arrangement first started, he frequently pushed back his ability to repay me. His statements changed from "I will pay you back next Tuesday" to "I will pay you back when we get paid." We receive our paychecks monthly at the end of each month, and he borrowed money from me at the beginning of the month. Despite this, at the end of that month, he only repaid half of what he owed. He mentioned he would pay me back at the end of the following month, but I told him it was fine and forgave the remainder. I primarily did this because I had a crush on him at the time and wanted to have more opportunities to connect with him. However, out of frustration, I ended up sharing my situation with another coworker who was aware of my feelings for him. She simply shrugged and said that when you lend someone money, you must be prepared not to get it back. After that conversation, he started messaging me only when he wanted to borrow money. This pattern has been ongoing since January of this year, and I have likely lent him over $200 by now. It is frustrating because I am aware that his family is financially well off. On Sunday, he had a shift with my coworker. I was not there because I had just returned from a holiday. However, I received a message from him asking, "Why did you tell others you lent me money?" I panicked and left him on read. Today, he sent me 3 more messages asking, "What is your problem?" and stating that everyone knows I lent him money. I replied, "I told one person at most. Can you please calm down?" Clearly, he is upset with me. However, I have since lost any attraction I had towards him, especially since he only messages me for money, inquiring about when we get paid or asking me to cover his shifts. While I feel that this situation is not my responsibility, I also feel guilty for mentioning that I lent him money. Am I the one in the wrong? Yeah, you're definitely not the bad guy for talking about it. I mean, honestly, you did your work friends a solid. That guy's just going to keep asking for money until someone finally stops him. So many people will take everything you give without ever paying it back. It's smart to set boundaries, you know. One friend has a good system, she loans a little, and if they pay it back, she loans more next time. But if you can't afford to lose the cash, don't lend it. Seriously, it saves a ton of hassle. And remember, if someone's short this month, they'll still be short next month if you keep bailing them out. Lending money doesn't really solve their problems, it just kicks the can down the road. And honestly, if you like someone, giving them cash won't change how they feel about you. Am I the jerk for telling my best friend's partner to stay out of our issues? A week ago, I sent a text to my best friend Amanda. I admit it came off a little harsh. I was hurt and probably more blunt than I should have been. However, I realized it and apologized that same day. For context, Amanda, our other friend Sarah, and I used to be very close. We would hang out multiple times a week. Ever since Amanda started dating a guy named Patrick, that dynamic changed. We barely see her anymore, and she has made a number of promises to hang out but then does not follow through. Sarah and I have both been feeling sidelined for a while, but we tried to be understanding. Eventually, I hit a limit and sent her a message expressing my feelings. I mentioned that it was not meant to be rude, but that it reaches a point where we feel neglected. I hoped she could find some time for us, as it seemed she could for others. This was not my best moment, but we all make mistakes. I apologized afterward and explained that my message came from a place of hurt, which is not an excuse but a reason. Today, I received a text from Patrick saying that he and I needed to have a conversation. Naturally, I was confused and asked him what was going on. He mentioned the text I had sent Amanda a week ago. Apparently, she showed it to him a few days ago, and now he felt the need to intervene. I told him I did not think this was his issue and that it was between Amanda and me. However, he continued to assert that I was out of line and that real friends do not behave that way, speaking to me as if I were a villain. I tried to explain that I was not trying to be cruel, just honest about how Sarah and I had been feeling, but he would not let it go. I decided to call Amanda myself. I apologized again and expressed my feelings, but I also asked why Patrick was involved. She told me that she never asked him to get involved and that he decided to do it on his own. Meanwhile, he continued to text me. I finally told him that I was on the phone with Amanda and that she did not want him to intervene, so he should leave me alone. That seemed to upset him. He responded by saying that I did not know how to talk to people. I blocked him right after that. For additional context, Amanda and Patrick have been dating for around 5 to 6 months after meeting on Tinder. What surprised us was how quickly she fell for him, as she used to have no interest in dating or relationships. With him, it was as if a switch flipped. From the beginning, Sarah and I both got strange vibes from Patrick. We had hung out with them both before they started dating, and it was not the best impression. We have never liked him since. However, we did not voice our concerns because we did not want to appear as bitter friends who criticized the relationship. A few months ago, he did something similar to Sarah when she and Amanda had a minor disagreement. He seems to think it is his job to jump in and defend her, even when no one asks him to. Now, I am wondering if I was in the wrong for telling him to back off and blocking him. Should I have let him express his thoughts, even though it was not his issue to begin with? Real quick, though, you're not responsible for this for sure. I mean, you're just trying to support your friend, right? It sounds like he's being really overbearing. It's super shady when someone tries to isolate their partner from their friends. You didn't say anything harsh, so it's wild that he jumped in like that. If he keeps bothering you, just tell him you're not going to talk to him, and honestly, block him if you need to. Standing up for Amanda is a big deal, and she really needs people who have her back. It's good to call out that kind of vibe. So keep being a good friend and don't let him get in the way. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.